Now, delighted to say, as you can see, we are joined by Keith Earls on the day that the new Irish jersey is launched. And Keith, you have it on. You're happy, I presume?
Yeah, it's very nice. It's a great fit. I think the lads have, so yeah, I'm very happy with it.
You are, grizzled old pro now. Do I call you that at 32, 80 plus Ireland caps, 170 Munster caps? I'd say that's flown by.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm 33 in October. It's gone so quick. It's like you're in stages planning after rugby. Which is quite scary, but it's part of life. Hopefully there's another couple of years. So hopefully there's another couple of years and body's feeling good. I think positive from that. The COVID, the only positive from the COVID, we had a couple of months of being able to, I suppose, fix a couple of little niggles.
It is scary, I would think, to remember what a 21, 22-year-old Keith Earls would have made of the lad who was 33 with kids. A mortgage, my God.
Oh, yeah, no, it's scary, but I definitely prefer this Keith Earls anyway, the older fella.
Why is that?
I suppose with maturity and stuff, and as you said, their wife and kids. I think I've figured myself out as well. Something I struggled with when I was a bit younger, and I suppose I'm comfortable in myself now.
But I guess fame and Munster and Ireland and the Lions as well, that all hit you like a train right off the bat when you were very, very young. That was a lot to digest when you look back. Yeah,
it was. And people might think this now, but the Lions tour is probably the worst thing that happened to me. Worst and best thing, I say. Everything was plain sailing until I went on the Lions. I kind of had my first poor game in that. It went very bad game, the first game of the tour, and I didn't know how to respond to it. Didn't have the mental skills to understand that it's just a game and this happens, and didn't have the understanding, I suppose, the mental strength to get back out of it, and it stuck with me for a long time, years in fact, to kind of get comfortable where I was enjoying playing rugby again.
I remember watching that game. I mean, that was such an Irish tour. So many went, and we were all excited to see you go. And I think there were one or two drop balls early, and you could almost see confidence draining. I mean, you could almost physically sense it. I didn't quite realize the hangover was years after.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I remember the first game we were playing altitude. It was absolutely scorching day. But it happened a couple of weeks before, like when the squad was picked, like a naive young fly. I was reading stuff, and I was trying to go out there then to prove a lot of people wrong, and it took away from what I was actually, what I should have been thinking of now, playing, enjoying myself, and living the dream, representing the Lions. But I kind of went out thinking I need to prove people wrong, and I had a good few drop balls, but look, that's just the joys of it. I hadn't played much international rugby. I played a lot of my rugby at fullback with Munster that year, and I remember I couldn't get a grasp of the defensive system Sean Edwards had brought in, that kind of swing and blitz defence. But look, as time went on, on the tour, I started getting a few games of fullback, and I enjoyed it. But the lads on tour were brilliant for me. They were always chatting to me, and even Rob Howley at the time told me, like, this jersey will make you feel 7 foot tall or 2 foot tall, so obviously I got the 2 foot tall.
That's not helping me, Rob.
But exactly. But look, as I said, it was the best and worst experience. But it stuck like knocked my confidence for a good few years.
Interesting. You said you read a few bits in advance of that tour and you felt the need to go and prove yourself. 11 years on, do you read much? Do you see much of what's said about you and about the team?
No, well, you can't but help see some stuff, but I don't go looking for it. If that's the right answer for you, it'll always pop up, or you'll see a headline on a paper inside in a cafe or whatever. You might hear something over the radio, but I think I'm well experienced, and I've worked hard enough on the mental side to not listen to people who don't really matter to me.
So say there's an idiot on the radio who doesn't really matter to you, for example, and you hear something, whatever it may be, and you don't love it and you know it's not good. You're quickly enough able now to take it, see it for what it is, which in your world is not very much, and let it go.
Yeah, it's just, I think I'm understanding that it's a person's opinion, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, and something might be going on in their life that they're ratty about, and they could be taking it out on us. So that's just the sport we're in. That's the other side of it, and like, it's probably just my family and teammates, as you said, and one or two people I respect outside this rugby bubble, that their opinion is all that matters.
Ironically,
like
then, sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, yeah, well, it's the people that you work with every day who just don't see the 80 minutes is the most important.
Ironically, over the past 4, 5, 6 years, because I think that's the period where you've really, it seems from the outside, kind of blossomed and had a level of self-comfort. Ironically, in the last 5, 6 years, you've probably had nothing but amazing press. You're one of the more celebrated players. People have noticed that difference in you. I mean, they've seen your performances. You were Players Player of the Year, I think 2017 into 18. So I would say, ironically as well, as much as you've been shutting all that stuff out, you've been getting probably nothing but praise in many ways. So, there's a certain irony there, I suppose.
Yeah, it definitely went full circle with me. But it's amazing, like, the harder you work at things, the better the praise you get. And I said there, as a young fella, I probably thought talent was enough, but we're putting so much into our game now as individuals, mentally and physically off the field, and it can only give you confidence when you play the weekend. Well, that's what I feel. And then the other side of it is, there's more to life than rugby, which I value a lot more. So I don't leave rugby get to me anymore. I try and go out and enjoy it. When I was younger, it was like a do or die game. Like, if you didn't win, I think especially playing for Munster and Ireland, you were going to be slated. But I think Axel's passing had a massive effect on me, letting go of a lot of nerves and anxiety before games.
That sounds like a much more enjoyable way to go about it as well. I mean, a little bit miserable to be that caught up in it and that anxious and that feeling in the pit of your stomach 2, 3, 4 days out from most games. That's a seriously tough treadmill to be on.
Yeah, and as I said there, people don't see that. Well, thankfully I haven't felt it in a while, but the Saturday morning waking up, not being able to eat a breakfast, not being able to eat pre-match meal, as ask any of the lads, would have been one of the worst meals ever. You just hate it being there.
Yeah. Why am I doing this? I don't like. Why am I here?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what a lot of us would have said to each other. But now I've kind of flipped it. As I say, myself and Peter Mahoney have a thing where and we slag with the lads in Irish camp and Munster as well. It's like 80 minutes of madness just for 6 days of living the dream and training hard. So that's the way I've certainly flipped it anyway. It's 80 minutes out of a full week where you can enjoy yourself and be around the lads and train hard with the lads and enjoy your family, and then just go to the well, as I say, for 80 minutes.
You mentioned the body is holding up. It looks like you're as nippy and fast and sharp as ever. Do you still feel like you have the speed you had 4, 5, 6 years ago? It looks that way.
I'm definitely faster. I know it sounds ridiculous as I get older. I definitely feel a lot faster, a lot fitter. I think having 3 girls' house, running after them like a lunatic. I'm blown. But yeah, look, I was quite lucky with my speed in Munster. There was a guy, Tom Cummins. He got me quite early when I was still in school. I used to go into UL with him. And I used to work on my speed work, and he used to be doing trials at me when he was in college. And yeah, kind of quite lucky in that sense that I got speed work quite early at 16, 17.
Right. That's interesting, because I remember Derval O'Rourke, the sprinter, was on the show, and this is a couple of years ago. She was saying you'd look at a lot of professional athletes, be it soccer or rugby, and she was making the point, in a lot of cases, their technique when it comes to speed is terrible.
Yeah, it is. It's funny you say that, because even we're training the other day, and Damien Delanda was standing next to him on the pitch. We were warming up, and he couldn't get over how well the lads run. Perfect posture, and he said they look like sprinters, and it's something we've worked on for a long time with Munster, especially with speed work and technique, and how we can preserve our energy while we're running, rather than running like a bunch of lunatics and wasting a lot of energy.
Right. I remember you were talking a couple of years ago now, I think maybe 2018 territory, and all of this is, I guess, the 1%ers that you're doing to keep yourself going. And you were talking about training your eyes, that your eyes were out of sync with the gel in your ears, and people were raising eyebrows and thinking, God, this fella's gone off the deep end. I mean, it made sense to me. I mean, why wouldn't you work on something like your eyes? What other bits and bobs are slightly offbeat, strange things do you work on in your spare time?
Yeah, well, people probably do think I'm mad, but yeah, I haven't picked up anything new.
Even though,
it's still just that schedule of the visualization. I haven't done that, worked on the eye thing in a while. Seems to be good. Yeah, just visualization and a lot of breath work and stuff like that.
You said a couple of years ago, I'd like to play until I'm 35. So that feels like that's possible at this stage.
Yeah. It's only 2 years' time, and like I said there, I definitely feel a lot better than I do when I was 24, 25. So look, who knows? We'll see, and who knows with this COVID thing as well.
Right. Total Change Attack World Cup 2019. Give us the overall experience or takeaway. I appreciate there's an off the pitch and an on the pitch element to those tours. We're all very focused on the pitch. On the flight home from Japan and the weeks after, what was your overall feeling on the whole thing?
Yeah, look, it was obviously it was very disappointing. And I think a lot of lads felt that we had left the country down, I suppose, because we had done quite well in November before it, and beat New Zealand, and then even the Grand Slam a couple of months before that again. So people had, I suppose, we got people's hopes up, and we were playing some excellent rugby, but we just didn't produce at the World Cup. And look, I suppose the only thing is that we gave it everything. We trained unbelievably hard. A couple of lads with a few niggles going over there. I suppose we done everything we could have done, and it just wasn't our time again.
I mean, and the thing is, you would never look at an Irish team and think lack of effort is an issue. How do you explain Grand Slam 2018, Australian Tour 2018, New Zealand that November into 2019? That's if there's a mystery that hovers over the thing, that's certainly the mystery on the outside.
Yeah, I think that's just the mystery of sport in general. Yeah, you said we had an amazing year up to that, but it's no excuse. World class teams can produce that year in, year out, and I can't quite put my finger on it. What happened to us over there? You know, that's just sport and it's cruel. But you know, as I said there, we trained unbelievably hard. You know, I can't fault anything on and off the field personally before we went over there. And look, you know, as I said, sport is cruel, and you know, I haven't really delved much into what happened because I genuinely can't figure out what happened. It was just one of them tournaments again.
Okay, you'll be asked about that in the street for years to come, I suspect, and it's one of those. Your relationship with Andy Farrell, what's that like? You've obviously known him for a number of years now.
Yeah, I had a great relationship with him. Obviously excited when he first came in, because I had massive respect for him as an athlete himself, with Wigan and Saracens, and what he achieved in rugby league, which is a tough sport to achieve what he has. You know, a lot of experience, captain a lot of teams, and he came in as our defence coach, obviously, and he definitely changed my role as a winger. You know, he put a lot more onus on wingers, and he expected a lot from his wingers, whereas a lot of people think we're just out there just waiting for the ball to get out to us. But you know, he put a lot more pressure on us to have a bigger work rate in defence, you know.
Yes. Well, it's funny you say that, because even doing the analysis with the lads on the TV, and Shane Horgan's in there, and Rog as well, they were saying almost the wing is becoming, you know, 13 traditionally was the toughest place to defend. The winger now has a lot of choices to make, whether you push up or you don't push up, and you're being asked to do an awful lot and make a lot of quick decisions.
Yeah, and you know, I've played 13, and a lot of 13s probably won't agree with me, but definitely nowadays the wing is a lot harder than
Right.
13 in my eyes, because as you said there, we're trying to cover a lot of space, between kick space and shutting down space on players, and we have to defend in a wider space against world class players who have a lot of room to work us over. So yeah, it can be quite nerve-wracking at times, but you know, it's I suppose it's all a part of owning it, and not taking the easy way out, and you know, doing what's right for the team.
Well, you've got a really busy period coming up now. There'll be 6 test matches in something like 7 weeks. So, I mean, it's all ahead of you. With the likes of Stephen Larkham coming in, the likes of Mike Catt coming on board with the Irish team. At your age now, kind of 32, 33, do you generally, you know, the game inside out? Have you seen it all before? It's just variations on the same thing? Or can you learn genuinely new things and new bits and bobs tactically at this stage in your career?
Yeah, you can genuinely learn new things. You know, I think that saying "you can't teach an old dog new tricks" is, in my eyes, doesn't sit well with me. You know, I think I've certainly learned a couple of tricks. You know, even I probably learned a lot more now my older age than I have when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, Catty has a different way of coaching. I suppose the biggest thing for us is being able to adapt to what the coach wants, but bringing our own game to it as well. You know, Steve and Johan are completely different to Andy and Catty, but you know, it's just about adapting more than learning, like, you know, and you bring your own skill set within their systems, really.
Speaking of teaching an old dog new tricks, I was just looking, there was an IRFU video on YouTube from October maybe last year, and I presume there aren't that many Joe Earls around, but it was like a coaching seminar, and I think, was your dad up at it? And it was Newcastle West. He's still passing on the bits and bobs. He's still involved in the game, is he?
Yeah, he is. He's coaching Newcastle West in
Yeah.
Limerick, the junior side. Yeah, so he was up getting his badges, and thankfully himself and Aidan O'Halloran, they would have played with each other. Geez, they know each other since they were young lads. They've played with each other with Tom and the Young Munsters.
Right.
Aidan played out half in that 93 young Munster team that won the AIL. So they seem to be their the double, the two of them head off coaching. The coach does under 20s at home, and then they're now with Newcastle West, and they're doing a great job with them. But
brilliant.
Yeah, he's old school. He's all about forwards, and
he said that in the video. He said, "Look, I'd be a bit old school. These new coaches, they have their ideas. They're interesting, but I got the impression he was thinking, meh." So you don't have the salt and pepper out, and you're showing him a Joe Schmidt set play that he can take to Newcastle West, no?
No, I don't. He'd ring in that. He'd ask one or two things, but in fairness to him, he's got his own philosophies as well, and I suppose at that level, the lads do it for the social side of it, obviously trying to win as well, but there isn't much detail at that level. But they've been going pretty well. He's been out there in 3 or 4 years, and they've been thereabouts, competing for the league, and he's there next year, and be quite positive that they could finally lift a bit of silverware, maybe.
Good. He needs no introduction, and he was a force in the AIL years. Do you have strong memories of him playing?
Yeah. He would have been quite young when he had me. He was maybe 19, I think, when he had me. So I remember every bit of his wow. career. From, I think, first time I've ever seen him was when they played Australia in '92 for Munster. I seen him on TV, and I can remember nearly every game, I say, since then, since I was 5 years of age. I used to do the kick and tee for young Munsters when I was 9, 10, 11, nice. 12, even younger. He used to take me to all his training sessions, all his games, away games. I'd be at the back of the bus when they were coming home after a game. So I got to see what old school was all about when I was growing up.
I would
drinking their cans down the back of the bus. But yeah, I was with him constantly, and I bringing the tea out to the young Munster kickers, Aidan O'Halloran and Mick Lynch, and a lot of them. So I'd be passing my father on the field as I was running out as well.
Wow!
Give me a little wink.
Jeez, that's gorgeous. That's amazing. So to round off this chat, then, it has been a full life in rugby, like literally. If I didn't realize you were quite doing that, and you talked there about doing a bit of prep for life after rugby. Have you any ideas? Are you going to try and stay in the game in some capacity, coaching or otherwise, or will it be a clean break, or where are you in your headspace?
Yeah, it's something I'm trying to figure out, Joe. And it's not easy, especially when I've been in the game since I was 18, really. So I suppose I have a few little things in my head, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I think at the moment, still kind of concentrate on rugby, as you said there. Hopefully another couple of years. But yeah, I'm thinking a few things. Not sure if I'll stay in rugby. That's only thinking now. If someone asked me now, would I be coaching? I'd have no interest in it. Spent enough time in it. The way coaches are these days, it's 365 days a year, nearly 24/7. They put a lot of work, and there's a lot of prep in it. But who knows? We'll see. Something I'm not considering at the moment, anyway.
Okay. Well, listen. Hopefully, there are 3, 4, 5, 6, who knows, years left of good rugby in you. You're certainly aging very well. Best of luck in that Irish jersey over the next couple of months. Obviously, lots of games coming thick and fast. Hopefully, it goes well for you. Keith Earls, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Joe. Thank you.